You will see the things that you did out of your heart, helping an old woman, picking a kid up, helping someone, an action that you take uncalculated, unthought, just out of goodness of your heart. These things herald through the universe, not your great accomplishments, not what you achieve or what you think has value. The little things have value.
And what I had always thought was important and nice things I had done, they didn't even count for anything. It's the little unknown things that you do for one another. And love there is always helping to give others love and helping hand along the way, and at the same time you're benefiting because you're receiving also.
And the question was, what have you done with your life to show me? Well, I'm looking around this panoramic view, and I'm hoping that you'll notice some good things, and of course I'm trying to pick the best thing, and hopefully you won't see some rather embarrassing things that happened to me as a teenager. And I thought, well, I was an Eagle Scout. Immediately came back, that glorified you. Again, the answer the second time, what have you done with your life? But this time the emphasis was on to show me. But I understood what he was saying. He was asking me, had I learned to love my fellow human beings the way that he totally accepted and loved me?
And when you look at it from a place to review and to be critical of yourself, not to be judged, to be condemned. There is no condemnation in it. There is none. There is nothing but, hey, look at yourself. Look who you really are. And look what you've done. And then give it a value in the eyes of God. The death experience gives you a value of what that love is, that you are so deeply loved and that you yourself so deeply love. You begin to sense a part of yourself greater and far more magnificent than you ever give yourself credit for.
Frequently, too, people tell us that this being is also interested in the knowledge that they've acquired in this life. If there's a scene in which one is seeking knowledge by taking a course or attempting to understand something, that this being comments in an almost offhanded sort of way, that even after we die, the process of learning goes on, and that what we learn here we can take with us to the next realm. People say that love primarily, and then in a secondary, almost grace note sort of way, that it seems to be the knowledge and the understanding we acquire.
How interesting.
After a time in this light, all of these people have to pay a return trip back. And it's very interesting that when they do, after having been in the presence of this being of love and light for a while, they literally don't want to come back. They resist the attempts very often made to send them back.
I never wanted to come back. I wouldn't have traded, and I would not trade today. For the few moments that I got to spend on the other side, I wouldn't trade 20 of these lives. And when I had to come back, I came back dragging, kicking, and scratching, because I didn't want to.
And I'm told then, are you ready to go back? No, I want to go on to the City of Light. No, don't you want to go back? And I could hear my daughter and look back and see her and my husband. They were saying, Vi, don't go. Come back to us. Mama, I need you. Mom, come back. And they asked me again, are you ready to go? I said, no, but it seems that my daughter needs me, so I must go back.
I really had no reason to go back except that I can remember my mother. And I know that I'd put her through a lot. I was a very accident-prone kid. And she used to say, if you ever die before I do, I'll never forgive you. My mother was so adamant about me not dying before she did. I think that's what first came into my mind.
We are alive because of love. And this was what brought me back, which, to be honest, I didn't want to come back, but this love brought me back. Love of that people who wanted me back.
Other times they say that they're given a choice, that they're told that they can either go on with the experience that they're having then, or else they can return to the life they've been leading.
She said, you can stay here, or you can or go back. If you stay, you're going to have to go through everything that brought you to this point. And at the same time, I was seeing the things that had brought me to that point, the things in my life that were painful. There were other things, but somehow the things that had been painful were the things that made the biggest impact. And I knew that I didn't want to go through that again. So there is no way to escape that if you try to kill yourself and you succeed, somehow you're going to have to go back and live the life from the beginning and go through everything that was painful in your life, and then have to go from the point where you killed yourself also. So you're not escaping.
And people will say to me, they say, well, Daniel, what about hell? I'll say, well, they didn't bring it up, and I darn sure didn't. Because maybe they might have checked and said, hey, Daniel, you're on this wrong list. You're supposed to be somewhere else.
They also want to know about hell. Is it a fiery, burning place? Well, what I found to be hell was separation from God. This is a total hell.
Darkness, where I was first. This is the same as somebody told you, the separation from light, from love, from God, from infinity. Of course, this is hell. That's why suicide was condemned by all religions. That's why they are telling that you will go to hell. It means you will go to nowhere. And nowhere does not exist. It means you will go somewhere on opposite than goodness.
Very often they're told, it's not your time to die yet. You've got things left to accomplish, so you must go back.
This weekend I was in morgue, and on Monday I was taken from morgue, washed, and they began autopsy. It was 11 o'clock in the morning. When they opened my abdomen, they took hematoma, and they began this T-kind autopsy, and some great power took me with neck, I think, that part I can explain, and pushed me down. And I saw this movement down, and then I felt my headache, and I opened eyes. And this was coming back to my body.